What's this? I found something.
Quite right. Do seek my counsel. I highly recommend it.
Frozen ground in the middle of a swamp. What's going on?
The sobbing bear cub looks at you, eyes filled with sadness. Then it turns away. There's nothing you can do. The sobbing bear cub looks at you.
It's peaceful here. But
And?
I'll not be so.
Have you found them? Did you bring the soul jars? They reside in a vault, hidden on a beach to the northeast. I wish my direction were more precise, but this place was designed not to be found. Brachus had his favorite necromancers design a vault in which he could hide his most precious things. The demons took their cunning secrets to the grave. Did you see? Gareth.
You're pathetic. Ha! You want to hit me, don't you? Go on then. Give it your best shot.
Clever.
Didn't I tell you to leave? Wasn't I clear that you're not welcome here? You can't teach a fool anything.
Careful. I spotted a trap.
Careful now. That's a trap. Look out. I see a trap nearby. Careful. I've spotted a trap.
You come to find. You come to search. But you won't find the way. A pity. I cannot help you. I only give the questions. I do not answer them. Brachus has willed it. Trompdoi must abide. You have met the unfortunate guardian of this vault. Judge him with a forgiving heart. Fate has been unkind to him. Do you wish to move forward? Listen closely and make your attempt. Brachus is a bloody, rotten, thieving, very, very awful fellow. Some even call him a cur. A cur is... You know nothing. Guess again. Listen closely. Brachus is a bloody, rotten, thieving, very... Either you're very good at guessing, or the slightest bit clever. Let's find out for certain. Listen closely, and make your attempt. Source is a scourge, a devil, a misery, a blight, a hex, a curse. And yet, the cure is... Fool! You are unequal to the task at hand.
Slowly, gravely, he shakes his head. You see him coming for you. You saw what he did to the others. You pray, you pray, you pray, you pray. You're stumbling away from the shoreline. a deep wound in your side. Behind you, the remains of your ship slip beneath the water. You press on, you and the others. A clearing further inland, a camp, a Magister camp. They weren't supposed to be here, yet here they are, twice as many in number as you and my friends. You reach for your sword, but the sky is already thick with Magister arrows.
Open your eyes. Time to die.
Show yourself!
Prepare yourself. You'll see what's real when it stabs you in the eye.
As you pick up the ring, you feel a cold, dark pain shoot up your arm. Your mind itches. You don't hear, but feel a whisper in your ear. It tells you to slip the ring onto your finger.
That's plenty.
The jar on the plinth before you seems ancient, but is in surprisingly good condition. It's covered in pictograms that you can't understand, but you're sure you just saw one of them move.
Look at that wand. It hums within a source.
I'm sorry.
He trembles and seems to shudder with a quiet sob.
I'm cursed, you know. Bloody Brachus bound me here to protect his vault. He has my soul in that jar just there, and I can't leave without it. As long as the jar stays unbroken, I can never truly die. Really? You would?
He drops to his knees before you and grabs onto your feet with both hands, head hanging.
Thank you.
The jar before you may have looked opulent once, but no longer. Now it's covered in grime, its paint chipped away, and its jewels long. The soul jar rocks slightly, light flashing from underneath its lid. On its rim, you can just barely make out the name Gratiana. As soon as you touch the jar's cracked surface, you see a vision of splendor, silks, fine food, and decadent lechery. But underneath it all lies bone and blood. The vision shifts. You see burning villages, slaughtered women and children. You see her, purging wand in hand, standing amongst it all. She throws her head back and laughter echoes in your skull. A shadow falls across her, and you see a large, weeping face. She reaches out as if to comfort, but Brachus drags her back. You see her fall into the mire of the swamp, trapped. As you pull your hand away, you can feel a deep, longing sadness in your soul. Is it regret, or just sadness for a life that used to be? A soul jar rests between two fallen columns, emanating a faint odor of seaweed and timber. When you touch the glass, your vision wavers. You emerge on the prow of a fine ship. Your armor pulses with enchantment, dominating those who draw near. Your flag flies for Brachus Rex, a tyrant who traded for your soul. With his power, your flesh and blood is no longer relevant. The vision fades as the soul thrashes, trying to sever your connection. To be soulless is a horrible, empty fate. You seek out Brachus's vault, but the moment you reach the soul jar, he ensnares you. Thus imprisoned, you can only dream about what is out of reach. Your soul and that alluring armor. The vision shatters as the soul squirms away from you, curling up in the bottom of the jar. The soul jar pulses with trapped life force. The soul jar stands on its plinth, glowing softly. From within, you can almost hear the whisper of a voice. You see, or rather, you feel, a far-off land. Frozen breath hangs in the air, pine needles brush your cheeks, and in your arms you can feel a weight, a body, dead. Your vision swims. You're older, but perhaps not wiser. You march at the head of a shambling host, the enemies of Brachus Rex melting before you. The scene twists again. Now Brachus stands before you, a beautiful woman at his side. You lash out in treasonous rage, but cold arms bind you. You're sealed away in a tower. Your screams fill the darkness. You feel a jolt and open your eyes to see the soul jar before you, lying still in the vault. Your hand... The jar on the plinth before you seems ancient, but is in surprisingly good condition. It's covered in pictograms that you can't understand, but you're sure you just saw one of them move. The pictograms spin to life, and you're dragged into a dream. You see the lizards of the ancient empire turning their backs on you, casting you out into the wilderness. As you roam, the human apes turn away from you, all but one. One smiles, one opens his arms, one says he'll take you home, Brachus Rex. He promises power for a price. He picks off your golden scales, one by one, stripping you down to the bone. He promised you a crown, but all you got were shackles. You try to fight, try to reclaim what's yours, but a woman takes you by the hand and leads you to a tower. He promised he'd take me home, you cry. You are home, she smiles as she seals the door. This is where you belong. Your hand drops away from the soul jar, your skin prickling. In the back of your mind, you hear a small, scared voice whimper before fading to nothing. This jar glitters and glows. From within, you think you can make out the distant sound of laughter. With a jerk, your mind is pulled to a scene in a tavern. You see a dwarf in the center of the room, joking us all around roar with laughter. all bar the zombies, who are slavishly serving food and drink. The door opens, and a tall, beautiful woman stalks into the room. She's flanked by heavily armed guards. You can't make out her words, but see the fear in the dwarf's eyes. The dwarf mutters a word, and the undead lurch towards the intruder, but are cut down like wheat. The dwarf tries to run, pushing her friends into the woman's path, but is grabbed before she can escape. As she's dragged away to a tower, you hear her cursing Brachus Rex and his whore. Even when she's thrown inside and the door sealed, you can still hear her shouts. You pull your hand away from the jar, your head swimming. You can feel the dwarf's cold terror still twisting in your gut. The vision fades.
She must have been acting against Brachus Rex for him to have come for her like that.
Keeping the dead as slaves? What a disgusting display. She deserved every punishment she got.
Being locked in a tower was more kindness than any necromancer deserves.
The deity's head and hands are missing, severed as if by a sword. You can't tell if this was meant to be symbolic somehow, or a mere act of vandalism. As you take in its chiseled details, you have a vision. The statue comes to life and embraces you awkwardly with its broken arms. Unable to resist, you're flown away into an endless dark.
That shrine seems to have brought me here. What is this place?
The deity's head and hands are missing, severed as if by a sword. You... A waif-thin elf peers at you from over an imperious hooked nose. Deep darkness circles both his eyes. Disdain etches his face into a sneer.
Ah, you're here. Good. You know me, do you not? Yes, you know me from within. From a memory of a memory of a memory. For I am Tyr Sendilius, god of the elves, god of you. Tell me, what have you done in order to make it this far? How have you failed? Can't you name your misdeeds? Are you afraid to look them head on? Ha! Thus speak the most heinous offenders of us all. But there must be more. You are my champion after all. I saved you from the darkened seas, where you would have been lost and forgotten forevermore. I need to know how badly I've chosen, before we proceed. You're right. We won't get anywhere this way. There's an easier way.
Tyr Sendilius steps forward, seizes your arm with surprising strength, and bites a chunk of flesh from your forearm. His face is thoughtful as he chews your flesh, savors it, and slowly swallows it down.
I was wrong about you. I chose well. You are my Godwoken. You will ascend. You will save us all. We are not done here. You have a purpose, a tremendous purpose as yet unfulfilled. Hear what I must tell you, then you will be free to leave. Let me show you.
Suddenly, a great energy enters the crown of your head and melts downwards, infusing every inch of you with a feeling of great power.
I bless the very water beneath your feet. Now you may wield that power for yourself. A first taste of things to come. For this is only the beginning. With these powers, you will have a choice. You can help our people, or you can dash them to ruin. Greatness doesn't care for class, accomplishment, or rank. It is a bit of kindling cultivated by those with intention, those who intend to stand close to a spark. This I see within you, above all my many children. I hope I am. I will ask much of you in time, but for now, you have a simple goal. Escape the watch of those who would hinder you. Be free of those who would ensnare you. You are supremely important, more so than any loved one, any companion. Do not forget that.
Delius grimaces with disdain.
Listen closely to what I tell you now. The other gods have sought their champions too. If they succeed, our very existence as elves in this great realm may be threatened.
He gestures dismissively over the great battle below, where God assaults God in ceaseless violence.
Fools cause great wars, and great people must follow them into the muck. That is where we find ourselves now, fighting for a place upon a throne of violence. But we mustn't fail, even at this. To fail is to cease to be. I have seen the very soul of you. I have partaken of your flesh. I have assimilated your being into my own. I believe in you.
Sibyl is pensively tracing a new name on her arm, gilded letters in an ancient alphabet.
Sibyl. My own name. A little gift from Delius. Leave it to a god to be overly dramatic. Don't read too much into it. Must be a celestial party game, or maybe he wanted to teach me a lesson. If the latter, he has much to learn.
And? Have you found them? Did you bring the soul jars? They are relics of great power. Please, you must give them to me. If I can make an offering of them to Armadia, it could aid your cause.
Divine blessings. It's good to see Gareth.
Questions? There is no time for questions. Just give me the jars. It matters not. All that matters is that you give it to me.
She reaches greedily for the jar, tearing the cap off. You see a green glowing light emerge from the jar, enveloping Gratiana.
By Armadia, I feel wet. Oh, goddess, I can feel your tears upon my face. I suppose you deserve to know. Before I knew Armadia's grace, I was a very different person. I was the concubine of Brachus Rex. But more than his lover, I was his partner. I discovered his power to feed on the source of others, and I allowed it to... No, I made it happen. As his strength grew, so too did mine. There is nothing you cannot do when you sit on the lap of a powerful king. And I did it all. But power changes a man, as he changes his nation. Brachus grew paranoid, angry, murderous. I gave him more and more, trying to win him back to me. I offered him the source of whole villages. He devoured them and demanded more. The lands outside were once green and beautiful, until I came, until I turned them over to him. Now all's poison, and the dead are restless. Armadia is merciful in her love. I found this shrine while hunting a band of wizards. I found the goddess weeping for her children, and I wept too. Very well. My thanks again, child. Blessed Armadia, grant these soldiers your protection. I pray you will strengthen their spells and set their blades aflame. I pray you will bless their armor, so no curse may pass it.
I told you, lads, we'll be heading home in no time.
I can make this work.
You'll show your mettle soon, Squire.
Did you see?
Yes, sir.
Gareth's back.
Thank you, sir.
He's here to take us home.
Ah, it's been cursed.
Blessed Armadia, grant these soldiers your protection. I pray you will strengthen their spells and set their blades aflame. I pray
This may
you
serve.
will bless their armor, so no curse may pass it. My thanks, friend. I would say I owe you my life, but I owe you so much more.
He looks up from his work and grins.
Help you? Nice doing business with you. I wish I had better wares to offer.
Thank you again for all you've done for us.
Thank the goddess Armadia, not Blessed Armadia, grant these soldiers your protection. I pray you will strengthen their spells and set their blades aflame. I pray you will bless their armor, so no curse may pass it. I pray you see them safe, and treat us in your name. pray you will strengthen their spells and set their blades aflame. I pray you will bless their arms, so no curse may pass it. I pray you see them safe. I pray this in your name.
I can make this work. Maybe.
He looks up from his work.
Help you? Nice doing business with you. I wish I had better wares to offer.
Blessed Almighty, grant these soldiers your protection. I pray you will strengthen their spells and set their blades aflame. I pray you will bless their armor, so no curse may pass it. I pray you see them safe.
This may serve?
I pray this in your name.
I can make this work. Maybe.
Blessed Almighty, grant these soldiers your protection. I pray you will strengthen their spells and set their blades aflame. I pray you will bless their armor, so no curse may pass it. I pray you see them safe. I pray.
He looks up from his...
Help you? Nice doing business with you. I wish I had better wares to offer.
Blessed Almighty, grant these soldiers your protection. I pray you will strengthen their spells and set their blades aflame. My thanks, friend.
The sun shines brighter now that...
Soon enough.
The young man has abandoned the maps and now prepares his armor with happy urgency. He sees you approach.
Thank you for finding Gareth, stranger. I owe you. We all do. I just hope he's found what we need to get past the Magisters. Then we might actually have a chance at surviving this. Now with Sir Gareth back to lead us, and if I know him, he must have found those source weapons, we might actually have a chance at surviving this.
The young man has abandoned the map.
Now with...
The young woman twists...
Sorry,
She gestures half-heartedly at the her lip.
I'm sorry, my sisters. Most of my wares were lost in the attack, but I did manage to salvage some of our sorcerer sundry. Goodbye.
You have worked miracle. Welcome, my friend. Enjoy the quiet while it lasts. I know you seek answers. I'll tell you what I can.
I'm here.
You have spoken to a god?
Gareth stares intently, not so much at you as through you.
Yes, I see something there. But it's not for me to say. I must get you to Malady. She will know. She was imprisoned on the Lady Vengeance. One of the few of us not left to rot on the sand and sun. All the more vital we take the ship from the Magisters. Godwoken. There is no shame in finding solace in shelter. Or do you feel much guilt in enjoying the peace of the sanctuary?
Here, we stand less chance of catching Dallas's eye. These horrors she commands, shriekers she calls them. They still protect the harbor, firing pure death at anything that moves near.
The Lady Vengeance is still anchored there too. Lucian, save us from whatever plot Dallas is concocting on it. Well, I had a plan. Gratiana told me of weapons that could counter these shriekers. Purging wands that steal source from its host. I went to that armory looking for one of these wands, but Alexander's bootlickers stumbled in first. I found nothing but dust and blood. We've got to find a way to silence those shriekers. If we do that, the Lady Vengeance is ours. Freedom is ours.
You do? But that's incredible! I can only imagine what ghoul-ridden depths you braved to find one. I had no doubt. You bring me hope, sorcerer. I'll gather the other seekers and travel to shore. Meet us there as soon as you can.
Gareth's voice echoes throughout the Enclave with such command it could rouse a fawn to action.
We move, seekers. Now is the time to resist. The Lady Vengeance will be ours!
The others wouldn't let me join them for the fight. You should get moving, though. They'll need you at their side.
Kerban stares at the body of his dead comrade, tightly gripping his weapon in a cold fury.
Magisters, I'll kill everyone that I see, slowly.
So eager to die, Seeker. You cannot stand against the Shriekers, not without stronger weapons than these.
We'll find them, or we'll find another way.
As you approach, Gratiana turns to you. Her moves are lighter now. Her voice is warmer, but still tempered by the scene around her.
It would be a sweet joy to see the Magisters chased from this land. But I fear all I will see today is death. Praise unto the goddess. There may yet be hope for today.
You've come. Lucian be praised.
Gareth glances over his shoulder, and his voice tightens.
The Shriekers keep watch, and their gaze isn't the only one we should avoid. The murderer is here, Alexander. If I didn't know better, I'd think the gods themselves were your counsel.
He reaches for the wand, but pulls back before touching it.
Would that I could aim this wand at Alexander myself, to bleach his soul and sear his skin. No. This thing was birthed from a wicked era. What would Lucian say, seeing me confront one evil with another? Go. Take down those Shriekers.
changed. You are you, but more. You are another, but not. You look to your hands, your belly, your feet. Flesh you don't know, molded into unfamiliar shapes. You cradle your aching head, where another's memories and wisdoms mix with your own. Your fingers trace a line from your head to your face, feeling not the creases of the mask, but the porous surface of new skin. You lower your arm, blink twice, and step forward in this new guise.
I'm guessing that's one of those shriekers.
Whatever it is, it looks dangerous.
Praise be, you have silenced the shriekers and cleared our way. Yet it seems I'm in need of you again, my friend. You have any more miracles in you? We've got a boat ready to row to the Lady Vengeance. But if Alexander sees us bobbing among the waves, we'll be shark chow. So we split up. I take the Seekers to the Lady Vengeance. You go to the ruins and keep Alexander busy. He'll be expecting a breeze. Show him that you're a hurricane. Are you ready? We've got right on our side. A greater ally than any sulking Geist or any whinging Magister.
He takes the news calmly. A moment passes as he calculates the consequences, assessing this new world as it opens up before him. He nods his thanks, then raises his voice.
Seekers, we move. You are Lucian's eyes and ears. You are his sword and his shield. Burn the blackness with your holy fire!
There could be void woken nearby. Stay ready. There could be void woken nearby. Stay ready.
Doesn't it?
now, your foul sorcery will be the death of us all. Only a fool does not fear the void. Now fight!
yourself!
Alexander is dead. My contract is fulfilled.
Alexander is fallen! The son of Lucian is dead! Murderers!
well, quite the mess you've made here. I'm Malady, and you're...
She steps forward, grabs you behind the neck with alarming strength, and pulls you close. She sniffs twice, her nose at your ear, then bites, piercing the lobe with a needle-sharp fang. She releases you and grins, running tongue over teeth.
God-woken. And I've heard of you. You're what gets some of us out of bed each day. What do you make of that? Well, first things first.
She peers at you closely, a knowing squint in her eye.
Tell me, which of those little gods did you meet? And what did they teach you? They're free to smite me where I stand if I'm wrong.
She cocks her head and smiles. Her eyes go wide.
Go on then. Show me what he taught you. Ah, like that. Right, hold on then.
She takes you by the shoulders and gestures for you to do the same to her. She closes her eyes, and a warm, soothing sensation runs from her hands into your body. Suddenly, you feel the familiar swell of source within you.
Perfect. You really are God-woken. I'm happy. Oh, how unbecoming. Come then, we set sail, your destiny awaits, etc. You'll have to ask the Meister about that. She's dying to meet you.
Malady beckons you to the boat.
After you, darling. As you wish. Let's go. Boat first, questions later.
Malady grabs the vessel with two hands and pushes it into the water. She hops on board behind you.
God-woken. Wait till she finds out.
Salty water mists your face. Your skin prickles in bright, warm sunlight. The boat bobs forward through the water, and Fort Joy shrinks behind you.
Tired but victorious, the party made for the Lady Vengeance. The horrors of Fort Joy behind them. They arrived as sorcerers. They left as God-woken. The fate of this God-forsaken world now rested on their shoulders. Or at least, on the shoulders of one of them.
A light sea breeze kisses your cheek and carries away the smell of blood wafting up from the deck. In the distance, Fort Joy looms.
Don't stand between a prince and his principles. The Magisters learned that the hard way.
I've no sympathy for those who die in the line of duty, especially as odious a duty as those dead Magisters held.
A hard-fought freedom, sure. But if spilling blood is bad, it shouldn't be so agreeable. Onward now. The sooner Fort Joy disappears from the horizon, the better. Perhaps the Seekers need help manning the ship.
Claude. So close to escaping.
Hear my prayer. Show us the way forward. Deliver us from peril. Don't go any further, Godwoken. We need you alive. The ship won't sail. We had orders to search every corner of it and figure out what's blocking us. It's hewn from elven livewood. I thought I could communicate with it, but...
She glances over towards a smouldering pile of ash on the deck nearby. Something is nestled within it. Fragments of scorched bone.
That was Brendan. When the ship wouldn't answer my call, he touched the figurehead, and it attacked him, without warning. He burned, like he was made of parchment. Nothing. The ship is live wood, that much is clear. But I couldn't communicate with it. The Magisters must have done something, warped it somehow. I just don't know what.
Spare me, Gareth. We got what we came for. This is what success looks like.
I won't see them tossed overboard. Not here. We'll hold a proper service.
What's-his-face and so-and-so would want us to get this ship sailing before all else. They died for those Godwoken, after all.
You know their names, Malady. Can't you even pay them that much respect?
Gareth inhales sharply, then catches you out of the corner of his eye and smiles, barely.
Our guest stirs. Welcome, Godwoken. Glad to see you safely aboard.
Very glad indeed.
Too many.
One too few, actually. Alexander, he's alive.
He's in the hold below decks. Unconscious, but alive. Question him. Someone has been hunting your kind, and Alexander fancies himself the only Godwoken worthy of ascending. As far as we know, you may even be the last still alive. If Alexander is guilty, he'll face justice. Yes, we certainly had better, but the ship won't move.
She's mute. We need to free her tongue. Quite expedient, isn't it? Dallas seems to have made a ship out of an ancestor tree, then found a way to bind the spirit within to her alone. That means only she can control it, unless we can find a way to break the bond. Go ahead and try. Maybe a pure breed will have better luck than I did. But whatever you do, hurry it up. The longer we sit here, the higher the chance the Order will get their hands on you.
We won't let that happen.
Yes, and all that.
The Seekers, the survivors of us, have been combing the ship from bow to rudder. It hasn't been easy. This place is laced with dark magic.
These Seekers have such a limited skill set.
We lost a man in the search. Malady might not appreciate that, but I do. And I hope you do too.
I'm sure the Godwoken will be able to get the ship moving. They kind of like to feel useful, don't they? Hopefully, you'll never have to find out.
Nothing on any of the dead bodies. Maybe there's something below decks.
Ah, there you are. High time to stop gallivanting and resume our journey together, wouldn't you say? Off we go, then.
Nothing on any of the dead bodies. Maybe there's something below decks.
Void Slayer, Worm Killer, Godwoken. You have many names. Let's add ship's captain to the list once we get this thing moving, shall we? Keep Lucian close, Godwoken.
Yes? Is it normal?
I remember this one. His name was Caban. His friend's sword couldn't save him, it would appear.
Pray to you for my Seeker brethren. Show us the path to salvation. Sindelius, hear my prayer. Show us the way forward. Deliver us from peril. Be careful around the figurehead, Godwoken. We can't afford to lose you.
Her eyes flick over to the smouldering ashes once again, her head held at a despondent angle.
Thank you. We were held captive together on this ship. He kept my spirits up. Now he's dead.
Before you is a towering figurehead carved in the likeness of a dragon. It looms over the bow, its fangs bared at the open sea. There's an odd mark on the side of the figurehead. Battle damage, weather staining. It almost looks like a pattern hole. Searing pain races up your arm. The ship senses you. It's angry. The pain intensifies. It's spreading past your arm, across your chest. Your lungs feel like they're on fire. The figurehead continues its vigil over the seas. The detail is remarkable. There's an odd mark on the side of the figurehead. Battle damage?
This boat's a treasure. Dallas wouldn't know what to do with it.
Yes?
All that fighting will be worth less than nothing if we can't get this tub moving.
was a treasure.
Yes?
I was just getting used to this seafaring life. You know, we could... from the look in your eye, I gather it's time to grab my things and get back to work. Ready? We'd probably get tired of this view soon enough anyway.
Find a way to get this ship moving. We can't let the Magisters catch up with us. We're too weak to fight them again.
The lady's a sturdy old tub. Take a lot to sing her.
The Seeker flexes her arms stiffly. Her joints audibly pop. She sees you draw near.
I owe you, Godwoken. Without your help, I'd likely still be a prisoner around here, not guarding Alexander the bloody Divine himself.
She nods her thanks and immediately winces, laying her hand on the back of her neck.
We're a big bloody target on our backs. We took their leader and their flagship. The Hammer won't stand for that. She'll be hunting for us. Good luck getting anything out of either of them. Our special guest is out cold, and the other one ain't in much of a talking mood. All right then, just... don't make me regret it. I'll keep an eye on the Red until the cage is locked again.
A young Magister paces around the brig, fussing over Alexander's unconscious form. She leans over and applies a damp cloth to his brow. She notices you observing her. She straightens her back and sets her jaw in a defiant scowl.
Magister Ranley, Corker's mate of the Divine Eminence vessel, Lady Vengeance. That's all the information I'm giving to any of you lot. So stow your questions, lizard. Magister Ranley, Corker's mate of the...
The Magister falls silent, but stares at you with unwavering defiance. The Magister's stare hardens into an intense scowl.
Magister Ranley, Corker's mate of the Divine Eminence vessel, Lady Vengeance.
If it were up to me, you'd be swinging from the end of a rope, not locked up in here.
Magister...
A young Magister paces around. She noticed...
Magister Ranley, Corker's mate of the Divine Eminence vessel. Ranley, Corker's mate, Lady Vengeance. Magister Ranley, Corker's mate of the...
The Magister falls silent, but stares at you with unwavering defiance. The Magister's step...
Magister Ranley...
The Seeker flexes her arm.
I owe you, Godwoken.
She nods her thanks and immediately winces, laying her hand on the back of her neck.
We've braved the joy, and I lust for further...
You're not quite certain you'll ever sleep soundly with Sabine in any sort of proximity.
There's something to these doors I'm not seeing. But what?
The door seems like any door, at least at first. Then you notice it's unblemished wood. There is no knot, no scratch, no dent to detract from its apparent perfection. The wood groans and creaks. A face appears in the wood, tortured and tormented. A six-sided indentation is carved on its forehead, as if a gem or amulet had made a mark there. The face vanishes. The door remains closed. It seems you need more than a password to open it. The door remains unmarked. The thud of your fist upon the wood resonates deeper than you'd expected it to. It turns into what sounds like a moan, then echoes away into silence. The door remains closed.
You're the Godwoken, right? Then maybe you can find a way through this damn door.
The door remains unmarked. The door remains closed. The door remains unmarked. The anguished face appears, then vanishes. The door remains closed. The door seems like any door, at least at first. Then you notice the wood groans and creaks. The face vanishes. The word goes unheeded. You will need more than a password to enter, it seems.
I've spotted something.
I'll keep an eye on the red until the cage is locked again.
Magister Ranley, Corker's mate of the Divine...
I ought to chain you up like your lot did to me.
The Seeker has removed...
You must be stuck. Good luck getting in.
Magister Ranley...
A young Magister paces around the brig, fussing over out. She noticed...
Magister Ranley, Corker's mate of the Divine Eminence vessel, Lady... Magister Ranley, Corker's mate of the...
The Magister falls silent, but stares at you with unwavering defiance. There's a shift in the Magister's expression, a flicker of doubt. Then...
I'm a good Magister, loyal. But Dallas, something about her has changed. She's toying with dark magic, like a common sorcerer. She used to sing to the ship. It let her control it. She had this old book of hymns and incantations. It was only ever in her hands, or else locked away in her cabin at the stern. That's all I know.
The Magister leans in and whispers urgently.
If you ever find yourself face to face with Magisters, you tell them I was tortured. I didn't betray the cause, not until I was near death. Understand?
The Magister
If you ever...
You spoke, didn't you? Ha! I knew you got that Magister to talk. Oh, good work. I knew she'd crack eventually. Got that Magister... Good luck getting... Got that Magister to talk...
Get away from him, sorcerer. That's the divine. All right. Don't harm him. I'll be watching.
Ifan grabs you by the sleeve, not hard, but insistent.
Let me work on him. I've got questions that need answers. Answers I can only get from him.
Ifan approaches Alexander, who lies flat on a bare wire cot. Though unconscious, Alexander's eyes are only half closed. His swollen jaw hangs open at an odd angle. Ifan grabs him by the jaw and shakes, violently. Alexander's face contorts with agony and his eyes flutter, yet he doesn't return to consciousness.
Why did you trigger the death fog before the elves had a chance to escape? Why? Why?
No matter how loud Ifan shouts his questions, there is no response from the unconscious Alexander. He reaches his arm back, and you realize he intends to punch Alexander in the face. As if waking from a dream, he turns to you, disoriented. Hesitantly, he drops his fist until it hangs loosely by his side. Sheepish now, he scratches the side of his head with his other hand.
You're right there.
With a nod, Ifan strides away. A young woman shifts her weight between her feet, as though swaying her hips to an imaginary beat. She rubs her forehead, her face tight with concern. Her eyes roll up to meet yours, their great black pupils, greater and blacker than seem natural, expanding further as they take you in. She smiles, and the worry melts from her face.
Hey, it's you! Well, 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 we meet again. They told me you'd mosey your way down here eventually. Long story, starting with a freak named Niles and ending with a trip down a sewer drain. Then I met this band of merry weirdos and was cordially invited to get the hell out of Fort Joy, seeing as we're, well, you know. God-woken. Is it true? You're like me? Well, kind of. You know about my, situation, right? Right. Well, I'm a host. Always have been, probably always will be. I'm never alone in my head. Spirits visit, wanderers, sprites, demons, ghouls, disembodied mystics. You name it, I've chatted with it behind my own two eyes. I'm only hosting one right now, though, and it's a real piece of work. Malady said I should have met one of the gods when I had my vision in the Hall of Echoes, but I didn't. I met it. I know. It's really... special. I don't know what this thing is, but I'm gonna get it the hell out of my head and make it sorry it ever came knocking. What's your deal? Harder than it ought to be, isn't it? You know, I never was much of a solo artist. Want to find out what comes next, you know, together? And don't worry, by the by, I forgive you for leaving me to drown on that ship. Surprise! We could have, but a few of us made it out in any case. One of those kids, too, told us all about it. But don't worry, manslaughter happens. It hasn't stopped me from thinking it'd be a good idea to travel together. What do you say? Sure, whatever suits you. Probably better for you in the end anyway. I'm not always myself. And sometimes not myself is a bit, unpredictable. Anyway, see you around.
there you are. I was just thinking of you. This is Dallas's ship, but she can't have been the only one who could get it moving. It'd be too risky, and Dallas is anything but careless. There's a way to move this ship on board, I'm sure of it. The figurehead has certainly caused a commotion lately. But then again, so have the doors downstairs. Everywhere you look, a hunk of wood looking to incinerate or stymie you. You'd be surprised. A ship like this holds many secrets. Hopefully you can discover some these seekers might have missed. Please, don't go.
Nothing here.
The figurehead continues its vigil over the seas. There's an odd mark on the side.
Tirs and Delius. Be careful around the figurehead, God.
It's good to be on the open seas again.
He grunts approval.
May the fallen rest easy in the Hall of Echoes. Driftwood, of course. Little fishing village. Not very welcoming, but you'll brighten it up, I'm sure. Got family near there. Not the adventuring types. For the best, really. Meister Siever's there too. My leader. Our leader. She held the Seekers together when we had every reason to fall apart.
Gareth pauses, then shakes his head.
A mistake was made. That's all I have to say on the matter. Keep Lucian close, Godwoken.
Deserve that! Yikes! What did I do to deserve that?
Trickery did the hammer use to control this thing? We're lucky to have made it this far. But our luck will be for nothing if this ship doesn't take sail soon. There must be some way to get this ship moving. There has to be.
The silent monk leans forward slightly and stares at you straight in the eyes. She seems eager for you to say something. The silent monk leans from one foot to the other. He seems eager to move. The silent monk leans forward slightly and stares at you straight in the eyes. She seems eager for you to say something.
Where would I hide something important if I was a Magister?
The door remains unmarked. The door remains closed. The door remains the anguished. The door remains the thud.
Having extra help in a fight. I'll guarantee you that.
Got that Magister to talk. You spoke, didn't you? Ha! I knew you would eventually.
Magister Ranley, Corker's mate.
Too late for that now, Red. The bell can't be unrung.
The sergeant doesn't seem interested in talking to you. She shoots you a disdainful look before turning away, muttering something about underlings exceeding their authority under her breath. The sergeant doesn't seem...
Speak to me if you're looking for hired help. I've got good fighters of every stripe. They know how to keep their mouths shut too, as long as there's gold in it for them. Oh, I see you have a full contingent already. Then I'll leave you be.
Hey! You're here! Pretty nice boat, eh? We got an upgrade. There's got to be another way to get it going, but we can't find a way into Dallas's room. Maybe you can see something we can't.
There's something to these doors I'm not seeing. But what?
Expert warriors for hire, all seasoned in combat. They won't let...
The door remains unmarked. The anguished face appears. The door remains closed.
looking for? Will I know it when I see it?
As you approach, the silent monk puffs a bit of air from between her stitched lips. She seems agitated. As you approach, the silent monk cocks his right ear towards you, then his left. He appears to be awaiting instructions. The silent monk cocks... As you approach, the silent monk leans... As you approach, the...
Trickery did the hammer use to control this thing?
Good to feel the road.
You can put a price on the warriors I have for hire, but you can't put a price on the glory they'll...
Bishop Alexander lies supine on a bare wire cot. Though unconscious, his eyes are only half closed. His swollen jaw hangs open at an odd angle.
Read until the cage is locked again.
Someone has wiped the bishop's hands clean and folded them neatly over his abdomen. They rise and fall in shallow, jagged swells. Bruises swell beneath his eyes, and a shallow gash zigzags from his right ear down to his beardless cheek. Unconscious, he looks more boy than bishop. A beautiful six-sided gem rests on the bishop's chest, hung round his neck by an ordinary oiled rope. The gem sits heavily in your pouch.
No one's ever regretted having extra help in a fight. I'll guarantee you that.
The door remains unmarked. The anguished face appears once more. It dips its forehead towards you and waits. A shudder of pleasure racks the figure in the door. It seems to breathe. All of a sudden, all anguish is gone.
I am summoned. Speak the password. Yes, and yes again. The word is spoken. Welcome to the stateroom.
Just one more moment, please.
He clicks together two halves of some type of gauntlet sitting in his lap and turns his full attention to you.
And there. Rescued at last, am I? To whom do I owe my thanks?
I'm a prisoner, of course. Do you think I'd be sitting here calmly if I was a Magister holdout? That infernal Dallas woman left me trapped here, too weak to escape. It seems I'm in your debt. Dallas didn't tell me anything if she could avoid it, but I did overhear her practicing an ancient lizard dialect. Significant, perhaps, don't you think? Lizards apparently have ancient magic that allows them to control slaves that bear their mark by singing a song. Dallas must have had an interest in those techniques.
A pyramid? What on Riverlon is this for?
A teleporter pyramid? Only one way to find out if it works. Try using it.
What's this? I found something. What's this? I found something. I'll yield to none.
Were those guards or victims?
Both, I fear.
Healing!
Another pyramid. What script is this? Whatever it is, it appears to be written in verse.
And you thought Rivellon was flat.
For security reasons, please keep this door closed.
Delius.
The figurehead continues its vigil over the seas. The detail is remarkable. The deck beneath you groans and trembles, like the ship itself is awaking from a slumber. A deep sigh emerges, unmistakably the sound of a living being.
You are not the witch. You are not Dallas. You sang the song. Now you must decide my fate. Are you to be my new master? You honor me to embrace me as kin, despite my mutilation. I thank you. But I cannot be free again. Not truly. I am a vessel, and must be guided. Let me take you wherever you wish. We can depart as soon as you are ready. Ask. I am here to serve in all ways. I see you, brother. But I do not see myself. I was once an elf. That much I know. Then I passed and grew into an ancestor tree in a beautiful forest of our kin. That time has passed. I saw that forest reduced to a dead place. Then I was taken away. My memories were lost, like the leaves from my branches.
The ship's awake. Good. Is she ready to sail?
A slow, toothless smile stretches across her face.
To driftwood, then. If you must, but do hurry.
There is no time to spare. We have to put this island behind us.